Hi, and welcome to the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. Today, we're going to do it now. Good day, everybody, and welcome back to the Kale Houser Leadership Secrets podcast. My name is Kale Houser. I will be your host today for the next, 12, 15, 2 hours, whatever it is I decide to go. I want to talk about this concept of do it now. I've recently heard a story, and this is the problem with continually, going through like self-improvement and personal development and getting trainings from all sorts of different sources. You forget where you heard stories and where you heard examples that you're like, oh, that's really good. And you write it down, but you don't write down the source. And this is the case today. So I recently heard this really cool story. But honestly, I have no idea where I heard it from. I know it was in some sort of training, and I have no idea who it was that they were relating the story about, right? Because this was a story from somebody else telling a story. And this is about, and I'm trying to do the best of my recollection of this for the details, although there aren't many details. But I know probably somebody is familiar with this, and you can certainly put it in the comments of like, oh yeah, that was such and such to this person who said that in the 20s or whatever that might be. But as far as I can remember, this entrepreneur guy, very famous, I believe, out of New York, real estate type of person, not Trump, not any of the big massive names that we all know. But he had a habit and this kind of personality. I don't know if that's the right word, not personality, but this is just what he did every day. He said, "Do it now," to himself, and he kind of became known for proclaiming that he would say it a minimum of 150 times to himself between waking up and getting to his work, right, to his office. Do it now, do it now, do it now. Like coming down the elevator of his building, do it now, do it now, do it now. And I thought it was so fascinating because we've all heard about this, right? Procrastination. There are, I don't know, probably thousands of books written on procrastination and how to prioritize things and how to, efficiently use your time and time management, all those types of things that kind of play into this concept of do it now, of doing something now, getting it done now. But it wasn't until I kind of heard the story that, because we all understand it, right? Yep, the longer you put something off, the worse it gets, all those types of sayings. You may even have a motivational poster on your wall that says something to that effect, right? Don't put off tomorrow what you can do today, right? It's kind of the opposite of the old Popeye. What was the guy's name in Popeye? Was it Bluto? Bluto, I think, I would gladly pay you tomorrow for a hamburger today kind of thing, right? It's the opposite of that. Like, no, we're going to do it now so we can get that task accomplished. Now, certainly you come into some personality issues of, some people are very task-oriented. They're checklist people, like write it down, mark it off, and that gives them absolutely phenomenal satisfaction. I would but I would argue that I'm more on that level of things. Like I enjoy, kind of making a list, mainly because I forget if I don't write it down and I, have that thought, whether you're walking through the grocery store or in the shower or whatever it is, in the middle of talking to your kid, and this thought goes through your brain, like, oh, I need to do this. And if I don't write it down, like literally I'll remember that I had the thought of needing to do something, but I don't remember what that thing is that I needed to do. So it's frustrating at times. But, as I've done this literally probably hundreds and hundreds of times over the past few years, I've learned to start writing it down. Okay, so going back to do it now, and this entrepreneur, right? And he basically had great success because he never let things fester. He never let things go longer than they needed to go. If he was missing a piece of information, he went and found it, right? He did it now. He did it right in the moment. And I want to, bring this into your world outside of all those types of things of, I'm a massive procrastinator, right? Of taking these small steps in order to make these changes and just see how it works for you. Because I can almost guarantee you've got something on your list that you've been putting off. I certainly do. I've got a to-do list that seems to just be growing by the day. And this is absolutely the case of anyone, especially if they're in the startup phase of a business. If you're a solopreneur or a small team entrepreneur and you're trying to grow your business and promo and all those types of things, your to-do list is probably massive. And it seems to never shrink. Like you take one thing off and like 3 more things have been added to it because you've been focusing on that one thing. But I have found, there's certainly for us list maker type of people, there's great satisfaction in marking things off because it's a sense of accomplishment and all those types of things, and you can find joy in that, and especially if you're not seeing like the big results, like, oh, I landed all these clients this week, or I was able to get all these new customers in the door. If you're not seeing those big results that can really help fuel you and motivate you and fill you up, just getting things done is really what help carry you through the day and carry you through your week when you're not seeing those big wins, but those small incremental wins in the form of like actually accomplishing something that's tangible in your business will do. But I wanted to encourage you as you're thinking through this and how you can, do it now. Is there an app that can help you if you're in that kind of that realm of overwhelm and you've got 1,000 fires, so you don't know which one to focus on, and all those types of kind of cliche sayings. The alligator, the closest alligator to the boat is the one that's going to get you. Like, forget the alligators that are out, downstream. You're worried about the one that's right next to your boat, right? The military is notorious for all kinds of these types of sayings, right? It's that kind of do it now mentality that a lot of the military units have. But yeah, there are several apps, if you didn't know, like how to keep track of tasks daily and weekly and monthly. I like to use Google Keep because it's an easy thing on my phone that I can add to and I just check off, and I can add reminders if I want, but it's something that I know it's a one place for me to go to. But a lot of people use Trello. I've got a buddy of mine that has this massive Trello board, and it's completely interlocked with reminders and all these flows in it and stuff, which is really cool. But there are a ton, right? You can go on any of your favorite app stores and find any sort of task management type of apps. But I would encourage you to use something. And probably a little bit beyond just the notepad at your desk or that you're carrying around. Although for some people that may be absolutely critical that they have their little notebook and they write it down as they go, and then they get to constantly refer to that. But the point of it is just the availability and being able to refer back to it. But I've been trying to do this and add it to my daily routine since I've heard this, and certainly in very small incremental ways. It is a mindset shift and change to put yourself in that do it now mentality, because I'm naturally a prioritizer, like, oh, what's the biggest thing I can do, right? And this kind of goes a little bit against the big domino theory, like what's that one big domino that you can knock down that will knock down all the others. Although if you can focus the do it now on that big domino, then you're going to light your world on fire and get some massive action done. But I've been trying this in just incremental ways with my list, right? And I see little things, and I started with kind of the easy stuff that I put on the list that wasn't necessarily high priority, but I knew it needed to get done. I have 100 different examples of just tiny little things, like stuff with the studio and fixing the camera, or, oh, I need this cord to be able to do this down the road, and all those types of things. And I'm just like, yep, just order it. One thing, I had ordered the boys, actually for Christmas, right? This is how embarrassing this is. I had ordered the boys for Christmas one of those built-in kind of old school arcade consoles where you just plug it into your TV. And the thing's about, maybe 2 or 3 feet wide by about a foot deep, and, maybe 4 or 5 inch, and it's got the little old school arcade joysticks, 2 sets for it with the buttons and everything, and it has all the different types of games on it. But the HDMI cord it came with is like a 3-foot HDMI cord. So in order to play it, you're like almost literally, right in front of your TV, and we've got a bigger TV, right? It's not back in the 80s where everyone just had little 20-inch TVs. So it just hasn't worked. And literally the thing has been sitting on the side. And I was able to find at one point a HDMI cord that was slightly longer. I think it was 5 that I just had in my box of cords that every man should have, box of cords. But it's still, you're sitting there, it's like sitting in the front seat of a movie theater, right? It just doesn't work. And I've had it in the back of my mind, like, dude, you need to order a 10-foot HDMI cable. You need to order it, and yep, I know I need to order it. And it's like almost every week. Certainly, almost every time I see that darn thing sitting there, I'm like, this Christmas present is just absolutely not being used in a colossal waste, because I don't have this one interface item. And finally, last week, I'm like, I need to just do this now. And boom, I was in the middle of something. I think I was grabbing lunch or something. I'm like, I need to just stop what I'm doing and do this now. And I did. It literally took me, as you know, on Amazon, HDMI cable. I think I ordered like a 10 or a 12 foot or whatever it was. And boom, and it was here the next day. And now we can actually use that thing, to have these kind of old school retro arcade experience in our house. It's just kind of one of those simple things of it's literally been on my list since like Christmas. Which is quite embarrassing. So don't throw me too much shade for that, please. I'm sure we all have those types of things. Something sitting in your garage that needs to be cleaned or put away, or something in your car or in your trunk of your car that you're like, man, I keep meaning to bring that into the house and put it in the closet, but it's not happening and it hasn't happened yet. All those types of things. So yeah, let me encourage you. Do it now. I've found some really good incremental success with this, and I'm going to continue doing it, hopefully to where it becomes a part of my lifestyle. I'm not quite to that, saying it 150 times to myself before I get into work. But I have thought about like even just kind of, I'm a little bit of a write it on my wrist type of guy, the old school Palm Pilot, type of person. And just writing it on there as a reminder. I've used that in the past to good effect when I've had, words or concepts that I want to keep in the forefront of my brain. Because I know that's just how my brain works. I forget things. It's just the way it is. I'm sure I'm not alone in that. All right, everybody. This is kind of a shorter one today, but I wanted to encourage you, right? Do it now. Really. If you've got something on your list, even if as you're listening to this, pause this. Do it now. Do what you have to do. Make that phone call. Write that letter. Send that email. Order that thing off Amazon or go to the store if you need to, right? Put that thing away. Build that chair, that IKEA desk that's been sitting in your closet for the last 2 months. Just do it now and actually use it. Vacuum, clean the fridge out. Throw out those leftovers from last week. Like, do it now. And let me know what you come up with. Let me know how it works out for you. Let me know if you found ways to better track, or if you've got a favorite app that you'd like to use to help you stay organized and keep on top of your tasks. That would be phenomenal, because I am certainly always looking for suggestions to help improve those areas of my life. All right, everybody, I hope you're having a fantastic day. I hope you're doing great. Please check out the new website, kalehouser.com, KaleHouser.com. Let me know what you think. I'm in the process of kind of uploading all the back episodes of the podcast, and then we're going to get the blog section kind of up and running. And we've got a couple, especially if you're local to the West Palm Beach area in Florida, we've got a couple exciting things that we're getting in the works to try to help the community with various workshops and things like that to help business owners in our community. So stay tuned for that. That'll be pretty exciting. All right, guys, have a fantastic day no matter where you're at in the world. Talk to you later. Bye.